okay, so we've got a lot of properties. I've got some which, and I just need to refinance. I don't think Abby's told you about some of them. I've got some properties that I bought 9-10 years ago. They've gone up in value, and I could just do with refinancing them to pull the money out. Other ones we've just bought for cash.
Yeah.
Some of them, you know about lease option agreements.
Yeah.
Because Sam does them, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah.
So some of them I bought them on a lease option agreement basis, like again 5, 6, 7 years ago. But now I'm buying them in cash, heavily below market value, and I'm thinking, I could refinance them potentially. But I'll go through the whole portfolio. And you tell me what you think.
Yeah, sure.
I know there's a lot of rules and stuff in regards to it. You know, sometimes.
And that's the thing then.
Yeah. But luckily, the ones that I've bought on lease option agreements I've just bought, they need a little bit of a refurb because I've not done anything to them in 7 years.
Right, okay.
So what I'm thinking is I'll refurb them,
Yeah.
spend 5-10 grand on them, but then when I get the refinance, it might be a bit easier. I've also spoke to Sam Hawkins about trying to hide the title, so I've just bought a load of properties, but he's trying to keep the new prices on land registry by a little bit potentially. So
I don't think you need to, there's certain things you don't have to specify who you want.
No, because if they go and they see that I've bought it for 80 grand, and I'm saying it's worth 160, they'll be like, that's weird. Why did you buy it for 80 grand? So I'm going to try and...
It'll just hinder you when it comes to valuation from the reval.
Yeah. Can you hide it on land registry? Because Sam says you used to be able to do it a bit easier and it's a bit tricky. And
Sam will be the guy to tell you, but my understanding is it's not mandatory that you should put the purchase price on there.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily hiding, it's just not telling them.
Yeah.
In so many ways, what means then is when a valuer does his homework,
you can't
he's not going to see what the last purchase price is. That's power in Zoopla.
Yeah.
Then we're just saying what the average price is when people are typing these things in, so what they're selling for and the like. So. Yeah,
because Sam said that valuers made it so that you do have to say.
Right, it may well be, as I say, it's.
Cheers, Mark. But I think there's ways around it, and also you can sometimes say, look, we bought it for this price because it was from a lease option agreement or whatever, but put the value rather than the price paid. So
I think we've had a number of scenarios now where people are buying property under market value. They want to borrow versus the value.
Yeah.
However, when the valuations are happening, it's coming on the purchase price.
When the
valuations are coming in, they're actually coming in at the purchase price, so the valuer is doing their due diligence.
Yeah.
Because there is an argument that also says the purchase price is the value.
Yeah, but
with the lease option agreement it's different. So it is a bit of a minefield, and I think
it's the lazy way to value a house.
If we can kind of wherever possible. Again, it's speak to a sympathetic lender, somebody who gets it, as you mentioned, sort of a credit reliance, that sort of thing, who has that option to do that.
Yeah.
If it values up, you're at the mercy of the valuer. That's the only problem. So my lender might say yes. If the valuer comes in and says
if a valuer says no, because we've had it in the past, we've had a valuer down value it, but then we've had a different valuer go. Is that not normal?
Can be, because it depends on the comparables. There is no, there are some metrics, I suppose, but it's within parameters usually. You tend not to find valuers being massively out of one another unless there's a significant property. And other issues, but residential.
This was a block of flats, and someone valued it. Some idiot valuer valued it as a HMO, even though it was a block of flats.
Right, there we go.
And then we got another value.
So there's a fundamental difference there in what drove the value. If they both came back in as a HMO, you'd expect them to be largely the same. Within 10% of one another, I would suspect. But you can, you've got a panel of lenders with panel of valuers with a lender. If you're not happy with one, you can always request another. It just means how far do you go down the line before. So this is a list of all the properties that we're looking to refinance. A lot of them we've just bought for cash. Also, as well, do you know, you said that you had to wait 6 months, which isn't, as it happens, it's not really an issue. If we have to wait 6 months, we're happy to wait 6 months. But I thought that there was the 6 month rule had kind of been scrapped by some lenders, like Kent Reliance, for instance. I thought they didn't make you wait 6 months anymore. They don't.
As long as you've added value to the property. Is that right?
Yeah. So with the 6 month rule, certain lenders don't have it. So some lenders don't have it. You're absolutely right with Kent Reliance also. They will do same day mortgage, so where you have to bridge or something and you want to converting to a mortgage straight away.
Okay.
What the rule is with that is they will, if you've bought it today, if you haven't done any improvements to the property, it will be the purchase price.
So how will it work then with some of the lease option agreements that I bought? Because honestly, some of these properties, like for instance, Maryvale Road, if you can see that one, that one, the others are selling in the street exactly the same for about between 180 and 200. I think 185 is a conservative estimated valuation. I just bought it last month for 101.
Okay.
So it's massively reduced.
Yeah.
That was because it was a lease option agreement and I agreed to buy it like 7 years ago. I've bought it for cash.
Yeah.
And I want to refinance it. This house was one that I bought and I put in a family member's name. And the agreement was that whenever I wanted to, I could buy it the price of the mortgage.
Right, okay.
And that was actually more than 7 years. I think it was 2000, it was 10 years ago that was. And now I'm like, all right then, I'll transfer it over to my name. So I've now bought the property off my family member for the price of the mortgage. But really, it's kind of like, in my mind, it was always my property.
Yeah.
Because the only reason they put it in their name was because at the time I was too young to get a mortgage.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I think these are slightly different on the basis that I think each one of these cases we need to discuss specifically with the lender.
Yeah.
To get them, so it'd be difficult. I can just cite what their rules are.
Yeah.
Their rules are black and white.
Do your best up to put all your cards on the table and say, look, I bought it for this price. The reason I bought it for this price was because X, Y, Z. I now want to refinance it and do it that way.
Yeah, and they can understand their risk in that. That's what they're trying to understand really is if something should happen and you couldn't afford to repay for whatever reason and they went to the open market with it, given the way that it's been purchased, is that going to be detrimental to the value of the property? That would be the arm we would go through there.
So do you know stuff like this commercial project that we're buying, 1.4 million?
Yeah.
Would that be the kind of thing that you reckon... Would you like to do that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we do commercial finance. That does pick up some residential. We do a lot of bridging, hence our involvement in the manor house. Yeah. And commercial property. Because
we found with some of our previous brokers, they just can't cope with what we. Because also what you mentioned this, a lot of people ask me, not just our portfolio, but I mean we've got a reasonable portfolio, but we get asked a lot. Have you got a broker you'd recommend? And every broker that we've ever recommended always ends up getting so overwhelmed with work that they can't deal with it, can they?
No, so basically we want to keep you to ourselves.
Well, maybe. Maybe. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But.
For now.
Abby's like, please. Mark's like, no, I'd love to go on stage and speak in front of 1,000 people. Abby's like, no. But that is what happens. Like Andrew, that happened with even the new guy that we've just only. I mean, listen, I appreciate things take time. Sometimes things take time. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
But what we hate is when someone says they'll do something by a certain time frame and then don't. Because then it's like, if you say, look, this is going to take a little while, bear with me, but updates are coming and everything's fine. But if you say, I'll call you back on Monday, and then Tuesday we're like, that's when Abby gets ticked off.
Yeah, it's annoying because like Sammy said, I appreciate things take time, but I then set an expectation for Samuel and other people and solicitors and things like that saying, oh, well, I'll have information to you by Friday because that's what my mortgage broker said. And then I don't hear anything. And then I'm being chased by Samuel doesn't know why it hasn't happened. The solicitors don't know why it's happened. It's going well with you so far.
Yeah, well, ultimately it's managing expectations, isn't it?
Yeah.
Communication is key.
Exactly.
What you'll find is, and this does happen, I've got a case which is a prime example of this at the moment, whereby the lender will tell you, I'll have this by you tomorrow. They're with you by tomorrow. They don't deliver it to you by tomorrow. Yeah. Then you come back and go, and then, so if everybody is just upfront about it.
But what we want to do is we want everyone, at least in our team, to do what they say when they say.
Yeah.
So that way, because when we've got a solicitor, mortgage broker, builders, this, that, all these different people in the power team, agents, people saying they're going to go and view a property for, all these different people in the team, at least as far as we can control it, if everyone just does what they say when they say they're going to do it, That's a big thing, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, and if things aren't going to plan, say they're not going to plan.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Can, you can manage other expectations.
I mean, Mark bailed us out last time with the like you raised us like 400,000, didn't you, pretty quickly? And I don't think the interest rate was too bad on that, was it?
No, it was more than you would expect, but the time period was 10 days, so we were.
So we've used Mark for some big stuff in the past and just gone, wow.
Yeah.
Then that will.
Abby just comes to me a couple of times a week with a bunch of stuff that I need to sign, and I then have a very brief look at them just to check that I'm not signing my net worth over to Abby or anything like that, and check it out, sign it. And that's kind of how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, that's so. What are we thinking then about this?
Well, so we've got there's two questions here really. One is the refinance of the portfolio.
Yeah.
I think where we need to get complete steer from is how they would treat the valuation, given that there's lease options and so on associated to it. So I think we need steer on that, because what we don't want to do is to get to the process where we get to a position we've got a mortgage offer, they go and value it, the value comes back and we're all stuck and everybody spent money getting to a position we can't.
What do you think they'd think? What do you think they'd think if we said to them, like for instance this Maryvale Road, which I'm buying for 101, it's clearly worth a lot more than that. Do you think they'd accept that and just value it at the actual value, or do you think it would be downvalued somewhat because of the circumstances? Bear in mind, I'm a high net worth individual. I've got assets and backup and collateral.
And I think that supports the mortgage application full stop.
Yeah.
The loan to value will be driven obviously by the value.
Yeah.
So outside of your net worth, that will still be driven by what the property value is. So it will still come down to the same question. I think ultimately it's a difficult one because realistically you in theory bought it 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's changed ownership, but with the arrangement that you had.
Yeah, that's what we'll need to convince them. Actually, 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, So it depends who we go to. There are certain lenders which are very criteria driven and will not sway outside of that, but they're priced accordingly, so they will be cheap. There are other lenders that take a more commercial view on these things. Yeah. And we can have a conversation directly with the underwriters.
Sure.
Without sort of trying to put my stake in the ground, really, is to have that conversation with two lenders I can think of off the top of my head that we would just have that conversation, explain what we're doing, get them comfortable. Once we know once that's the case,
it'd be good if they were.
We will just keep feeding them the work because they understand it, and all of your lease agreements, lease option agreements, we can just go, well, here's another one we need to refinance, because they get it. As long as we can communicate what that is that we're trying to do to the lender. We don't mean submit an application, I don't even mean telling who we're working with. Yeah. It's I have this scenario, how would you treat it? Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with that, Mark. Okay. We haven't got Millfield Avenue on here. That was another one I wanted to add to the list.
The bottom one.
Oh, it is. It is.
It's just in tiny text.
So this property, can you see Millfield Avenue?
Yeah.
This property, valued 110. The values are all based on my research, looking at what's sold. So, the lenders may disagree. Sure. Sometimes I've been a bit conservative, in my opinion. So I bought it for 68. It's now worth 110.
Yeah.
And that I just want to refinance that.
Okay.
Overall big picture, what I want is I want to be able to just pull out as much cash as I can from all this and then reinvest. Yeah. Okay. That's what I ultimately want to do. Cause
all of this is on capital and interest repayment, is it?
It's all on interest only.
All interest only.
Yep.
Okay. So one thing we have to consider then is what your longer term exit strategy is. We are lending potentially 80% loan to values, 75% loan to values, and come 20 years expiry, they're going to want their money back. Yeah. So we have to just understand, and I probably need to give thought to what is the exit. And so you probably, if you can, where appropriate, put some onto cap and interest, some onto interest only, just to manage that, so you are creating equity.
Yeah. Although I'll be surprised if they don't go up after 20 years.
It depends. They may go up a couple of percent. Your Midlands towards the north, where you're buying, where we are seeing more property appreciation value. That's more static in London. In fact, it's probably going the opposite way a little bit in London.
At the moment, it is.
So, we're trying to, I understand what you're trying to do, which is get capital out. Yeah. I think we need to have one eye on, okay, where is the ultimate size and how do we then start repaying some of this? Or is it simply a case of, well, I'll buy, and I'll sell a lot? and that's my exit strategy. If that's the case,
that would be an exit strategy.
Yeah.
Because unless it goes down in value and then you're in negative equity, if it comes to the end of the mortgage and you can't pay it off, you'll either refinance and extend it again. Because I'm a young guy, I could probably do that, or you just sell it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's something. So I think there is some thought to be given to exit.
Cool. So I think my plan is to just pull out as much cash as possible to reinvest it. Exit strategy is number one. I've got a really high cash flow business and I've always got cash in the bank.
Yeah.
Number two is last resort. I can always sell the properties, but I personally don't think after 20 years these properties, especially in the areas that they're in, I'd be very surprised they haven't gone up, because we always see a recession followed by an expansion followed by a recession, and properties are overall going up into but of course you can never put your life on it.
Yeah, and I'm always going to take the cautious stance as the broker.
Yeah.
So that the finance, I'm always going to go, well,
yeah. And that's what people are paying you to do, isn't it?
Exactly. So I'll always take a cautious view on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Who knows is the answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
We probably will see what that level that is.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure yet.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Okay. So, what do you need from me then to make this happen?
Well, I've got application forms and the like, so basically once I've got one application form filled in, because the details are the same over and over, depending on which company it goes in, so I can get those over to you. The commercial mortgage is slightly different because that is commercial borrowing, and I think I've got the forms over, so we'll do that as well. Basically, once I've captured all the data, we can go and just get the applications off.
Do you know what the backstory is on all the houses and why I bought them so cheap? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great.
All right, that's no problem. I'll just give you the story on anything I feel is relevant, and then if I'm boring, just tell me and I'll shut up. But Raby Street, that's an interesting property, because that property, I found out that the house was owned by a company. It's a really good house, HMO in Wolverhampton. It was owned in a company, so instead of buying the house, I bought the company.
Okay.
And I did it to avoid paying 3% stamp duty.
Yeah.
So I ended up paying, I think, 0.5%, which was
okay.
Peanuts. So that property is owned by Fingerpost Homes Limited.
Yeah, that will explain just why one property in a limited company.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did I buy that for 118 grand? Because I remember buying the company for 36 grand.
That's what I got from, I think it's from Amanda.
Right. Because I just bought the company, and I bought the company for the price that I was going to buy the house for. I just worked out how much was going to be in the guy's pocket, and then just gave him that and had the company.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I got.
And I'm pretty sure I just took over the existing mortgage.
Yeah, because the debt is on the entity, not on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the company owes the money, not him.
Yeah. So that was a really interesting one. Saving stamp duty. So that's that one, and that was I bought that again reasonably recent.
Yeah.
15 and 16 at Tudor. So they're just apartments. Bought them in cash.
Yeah.
Really straightforward. I bought them at a good price, but nothing incredible. If they get downvalued to the price that I bought them for, that isn't even downvalued, because to be honest, I bought them for about market value. So if the mortgage comes up at 68 and 67 on those two, that's fine by me.
Right, okay.
I'll probably go in at 75 because I think that they're worth more than that, but they'll probably get downvalued, and I'll totally accept that.
Yeah.
Maryvale, I've told you the story on that. Maryvale's also a HMO. It's a HMO, but it's unlicensed. There's just 4 people in there, and they're paying a rent of £1,400 a month.
Okay.
And they've been paying that forever.
Yeah.
And I can prove that with all the ASTs and stuff, if you need me to. Pershall Road, that property is interesting. I agreed to buy that property for £89,000.
Yeah.
Absolutely forever ago, almost 10 years.
Okay.
So it was actually an unwritten lease option agreement. I didn't know what I was doing because I was young. So it was a lease option agreement, but we didn't have a proper solicitor in place.
Right.
So I just had to hold my breath and cross my fingers that he would honour his word.
Right, okay. Okay.
And he did.
Oh, good.
So I bought that for 89 grand. I think that property's worth... it's definitely worth... Well, put it this way, here's something interesting, Mark. That property's renting out for £1,800 a month. So I might be able to, I don't know what you think, but get a commercial valuation on it.
Yeah, I think
it's a HMO, en suites, really nice, getting £1,800 a month. So I don't know whether it might be worth.
that's the full HMO, is it?
Fully
licensed.
Fully licensed, yeah. So I don't know whether that might be worth. I don't know. Could you get a commercial valuation on that?
I think because of the rental, that will inflate the valuation.
Yeah.
As a HMO.
The tenants are beautiful. It's in good condition, and it's getting £1,800 a month rent.
It's understanding whether the lender wants it as a vacant possession or with market rent.
Yeah.
So we'll have a chat. We can have a look to see
Bricks
who
and
does the
mortar.
best.
Bricks and mortar valuation on it might only be, I don't know, 140. I don't know, but I think I'll put 165. But
Yeah.
I'll leave that one with you.
Yeah, sure.
Cleve Way, that was an out and out lease option agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I agreed to buy it for 81,000 7 years ago. Was it 7 years ago or was it 5? I can't remember, but a long time ago. It's gone up considerably in value. The guy tried to pull out last month. He said, no way, I'm not selling it for 81, it's worth at least 113 now. But I just said, speak to the solicitor then. And obviously I had the option to buy it for 81.
Yeah.
I didn't screw him over, because at the time when I took the property on, I said to him, you're mad selling it.
Yeah.
Keep it yourself. Why don't you rent it out yourself? I tried to persuade him, but he wasn't having it. He was like, no, I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to be a landlord. So I was like, all right, well, I'll buy it on a lease option then. I made him have a solicitor.
Yeah.
He was legally represented. He knew what he was doing. So he then just went, fine, fair enough. And he sold it to me for 81. And then I just bought him a nice gift. You know,
Yeah.
I also overpaid by mistake by £321, and then he messaged me and he goes, I've just had a cheque come through for £321. You've overpaid me. How do you want me to get the money back? It's quite sweet, and I said just keep it.
Yeah.
So we're on good terms. But that property's worth at least 110. I think about 113.
Okay.
That's a lease option agreement because there's others selling in the street for 120.
Yeah.
So it's so obvious that it's worth more. What do you think they'll do? You think they'll be good with that?
Again, I think it's understanding that. I think there's one lender in particular that I can talk to with the underwriters who are more commercially minded than others, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's them understanding the lease option agreement.
Yeah.
And then it boils down to, once they are happy with it, it's making sure that the valuer will subsequently give us the number that we want.
Yeah. Sure.
So getting the lender to be happy is one thing. Getting the
Yeah.
valuer to come back with the number we're after is something entirely different.
No, I understand that. Wormsworth Road. I think these ones are actually we need to get them. Yeah, we haven't. Those are all going through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 6 properties.
Yeah.
Including some of the bigger ones like Trent Business Centre, which are all going through, but we just need a straightforward mortgage on them, so they're easy peasy. With Trent Business as well, I have spoke to Coots a little bit. I've been in conversations about that.
Well, because of your commercial, you're reliant on the commercial income, lease income.
Yeah.
So that services the loan significantly better.
That's already been valued up.
Yeah, and it's I think you're getting 210k per
Yeah.
annum.
Well, we're getting 210k per annum, and we've agreed to buy it for 1.4 million.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a good deal there. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that will value up.
We'll need to put in what, like about 400,000? Or whatever it is.
25, yes, so that's 250.
About that.
350, yeah.
350. So that's not an issue if we put 350 in, considering how much we're going, because we'll be making, well, 210k.
It services the loan by 330%.
It's not bad, is it?
So yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's money.
So that's good. And also it's 5 minutes away from my house.
That's a bonus.
Which is just nice. Okay, Lowson Street.
Yeah.
That one we're buying in cash. No, we've bought
Just
that.
bought that
We've just
one.
bought that one.
Yeah.
That one went through last week, didn't it?
You're going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, for £64,000.
Mm-hmm.
That needs about 10 grand spending on it.
Okay, yeah.
Once I've spent that money on it, the others at the moment are selling in the street for about 90 grand.
Okay.
So I was hoping to be able to refinance that and pull out all or most of my money. That would be the plan.
Yeah.
So
And I think
possible.
that does fall into that kind of reliance description, which is there has been works.
Yeah.
What I would say is, I'm sure you do, but keep the evidence of the quotes and the works that have been undertaken, so that we can show that to the mortgage lender, basically.
Yeah.
And there's many times we've had valuers being met with a client,
Yeah.
and they've given a spiel on what else is going on, because
Yeah.
sometimes there's other stuff that
Yeah.
can influence.
Well, we can talk to you about that near at the time. If you've got any tips for us with the particular, I know every lender's different and every value is different, aren't they?
Exactly.
But that's cool. So that's that property, which I'm hoping we're about to pull our money out once the refurb's done.
Mm-hmm.
Corporation Street.
Still buying.
Still buy. Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Milford Avenue, I've told you about.
Yeah.
That's the one which I've just got a lot of equity in it. I want to refinance
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Sully Ridge, we don't need anything done to that at the moment. Malling Walk, nothing.
And obviously Riversford House when that's finished.
We're thinking of potentially selling some of the apartments when we finish that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be worth a packet, that is.
Yeah, it's a lovely building.
It's nice. It's nice. You have to come over sometime and see it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know about asbestos? There was asbestos roof, was there?
Mate, there was everything. There was Japanese knotweed. There was everything that could go wrong with the building. Pretty much.
Yeah. So no,
that's going really well, though, that is. The project's coming along really well.
Good. So yeah, I think, all in all, reasonably straightforward. Once I've spoken to the lenders, we can also see. I can also then, once we understand who the lender is, we'll know who the panel valuers are. Then we can identify who the valuer is and ask them how they would view the property. So before we start pressing all the buttons, we just need to have those conversations to understand how everyone.
It's nice. I'm happy to leave Mark totally to do everything. I think it'd be great.
Same. It's gone well so far.
If Coops happened to say to us, "Oh, we can give you 100% finance or something crazy," then fine. But generally speaking, I'm happy for you to do that.
You can get 100% finance, but you need to offer additional security. So you in effect build equity into it, which is counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve.
So basically, what you're saying is, if you're prepared to have properties that you own outright, and you're
prepared to, basically,
and you're prepared for them to have a charge on those properties,
yeah.
But then you can't refinance those properties, so it is counterproductive
for you. If you've got a portfolio that's unencumbered and you don't want to pull assets out of it, but you want 100% because you haven't got the cash, that's where it's useful. So people who don't have the cash to put into a deal but have assets, we can then say, well, actually, we'll take another 2 of those and add it to offer it as security. They've built in equity. Okay,
so what are the next steps then, and how long do you think all this will take? Obviously, it's a process, it's a journey.
It is, yeah.
But Trent Business Centre, I need to know because I've got the solicitors and the estate agents chasing me. So,
but if we just put Mark down for now.
Yeah, I just need a deadline for like an idea-ish to give them.
Like, what do they need, a dip or something? Decision in principle?
Kind of, yeah. They want to know what's going on.
We could get that, couldn't we?
An agreement, more so we get you an agreement in principle.
Because they're being chased by the seller solicitors, so they're
chasing me.
Is there a deadline to complete on this?
Not that they've been made me aware of.
There's not a deadline, but they're in a rush.
Everybody wants it yesterday.
That kind of thing.
Okay. Well, fine. What we've got is, I think I've sent the forms over for that one, which is the application form and the property schedule.
I think so.
If you can complete them and just ping them back, I can then go to the lender. We can get an agreement in principle.
Okay, that sounds good.
Assuming they don't have too many questions and so on and so forth. So we can certainly engage with them.
Okay.
I can engage with them this afternoon on the way back home in the car, to be honest.
All we need to say to the agent is, yes, we can get a mortgage on it. Everything's all good. Here's our mortgage broker's details, and then if they get in touch with you, you can then just get the official.
They'll often ring us.
Okay, that's fine. Are you happy for me to give out your details?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
They often just want a bit of comfort, really, to give to the vendor that things are progressing.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. Which one are you most excited about?
The business centre is what I do most of, commercial.
Yeah.
And similar to what you did with Riversford House.
Yeah.
Those 2 are probably the ones that jump out to me. But I do think you could probably do a bit of a job on the portfolio front with Alloway properties.
Yeah. Do you reckon? Yeah. Because they're all in my own personal name, aren't they?
Yeah.
What does it say for the Coventry property in Rollison Road? What's this? Vida Home Loans, an outstanding mortgage. What's all that about? Or isn't Mark sorting it out? Or is that who sorted
it? It depends. If you're already partway through the process,
these ones are the ones we've already gone and started with Andrew, and we're like nearly at the end, so we said we're not going to bother.
So we're not going to bother with those?
No, because or else we'd have to literally give over.
No.
Leave those alone for now.
We'd have to give over like 6 properties.
Okay.
And I'm already doing half the work for them.
Okay. So we're basically ready to complete pretty much on those.
Yeah, it's just little bits and bobs to do.
Am I alright to go on interest only for all of these? I know you talked about exit strategy. Were you happy with what I said about exit strategy?
I need to run the numbers, basically. If you're in a variable rate, if you need to chuck 20 grand on a mortgage.
Also, would you recommend fixing these interest rates for as long as possible? Because obviously they're pretty low right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that will come down to 2 factors. What does the fixed rate look like versus the variable rate? So what difference of margin is there? Are we inclined to see interest rates go up after Brexit? Probably not. We've seen some small marginal increases now.
Very small, 0.5%.
Yeah, 0.25% of the time they're just tweaking them up.
Yeah.
Are we
What
gonna
are
see
interest rates right now? They're about 2.5%, 3% for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, again, you know, I've noticed you've got a few on here which are like 4s and
Yeah, well, that's
2s
not good.
and the likes. First one.
Oh, that is
Yeah. And then
ridiculous.
you've got 4.5 and 5s. Some of these, I believe, yeah, 2 of them are fixed. You've got a 5.5% variable rate as well.
But these really expensive ones, they're variable. So I need to. That's ridiculous.
And that's it. And you can probably get.
Why are they so expensive?
Well, it's usually it's usually the lender, but then that lender's there for a reason.
But that Raby Street, we need to get that changed, don't we?
I would suggest you can do simple things such as speak to County Reliance. That might just be in its standard variable rate.
Yeah.
That might not be in a product anymore, and just in a standard variable, you could ring them and get it down to say 3.5%, 4%.
Yeah.
Just by making a phone call. So there's no necessarily need to refinance that. Just speak to County Reliance, see what you
And just say, look, I'm not happy about this. It's ridiculous. Can we sort that out? Because I'm really unhappy about that.
And then the same with Sunnyridge. You don't necessarily need to disturb it, but speak to Paragon. That might be.
See, I'm happy with this. 2.49 on Manning Wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm paying £87 a month on that, and that's fixed. But also, Millfield Avenue, I'm paying 4.49. That's quite expensive.
Yeah, on a fixed rate, Coventry Building Society. It's up there, but it depends. Again, if that's a 5-year fixed, then that's not, that's not
a standard.
Rate. Yeah.
Standard.
Yeah,
If it's 5-year fixed.
If it's variable, you're probably looking at more closer to the 3.8s, 4s maybe, and then 3-year fixed will sit in the middle of those sorts of numbers. So 4.49 fixed for 5 years is
interest rates. If it's variable, shouldn't it be around about? Couldn't you normally get around about 3%?
Yeah, again, it depends on the lender.
Will I be likely to get a better deal with the portfolio because I'm doing loads at once or not?
That depends on the loan to values, what you're trying to pull out.
Yeah.
So
how much do you think I'll have to pull it? I was, in my mind, I was thinking of leaving 25% in.
I think that's sensible. You start to squeeze as much out as you can.
And your interest rates go higher.
Yeah, and you start to have that volatility. So if something does happen to markets, you've got less room for error.
I think leaving 25% in is standard.
Yeah, is the way. So how we would look at this one is, we wouldn't necessarily go for rate first on this. We would look for the lender that would do this type of borrowing on this, would lend given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Once you've identified the lenders, if there's more than one, then we'll look at pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd obviously go for the cheapest.
Yeah.
And then we'd have a look at their panel of valuers to have a chat with them to see how they treat the properties.
Yeah.
And that's probably the order of how we rank these.
And hopefully, timescale wise, I know we don't know for sure, but would you imagine in a couple of months maybe we should be able to get the money out?
Well, refinancing of existing properties is far quicker than buying, so you're looking at six weeks.
Yeah.
I would suggest.
Coming out.
Yeah, no,
it's good to meet face to face sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially with so much. I don't think we could have done this over the phone.
No, I think it would have been lost.
Yeah,
very lost.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of properties.
Yeah, exactly. So
Just a few.
yeah, we'll get cracking on it. We'll get it sorted, and we can go from there.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
I like him though.
I really like him. I worked with him now.
Cool. Thanks. I'm looking forward to rubbing some of these things off the board. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited to rub that board off one day.
Awesome.
You never want to complete them.
I know.
Thanks, guys. Hello. What's going down?
Just need to tick off the table one.
Tick off what?
My list of assets.
Okay.
But
Cool.
that's it.
Did you need me to do anything?
No, just need you to, just to agree the deal with Sam Hawkins, and then it's all full speed ahead. Just the,
When are we expected to complete?
right, the planning's still going through.
Yeah.
That'll be ready first week of April,
Yeah.
and we're complete, I should think, a week or two after that. What we do is we exchange,
Yeah.
and I'll just straight out one, get the development
It's
finance.
gonna be fun, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. So the development finance is going to be cheap enough.
Alright.
But it's such a good one, because that's going to make 1.2 mil.
Yeah.
So
It's great. Excited. Amazing.
that's it. So how's it going with you?
Yeah, really well.
Yeah? How's the Nick?
Busy as ever. Leeds fine, man.
When you take me on golf, you said you're going to take me on golf. You and Russell are going to take me
I'd
out.
love to actually. Lichfield, we'll do golf, have some dinner.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Alright, that's cool.
Alright.
That's cool. Thanks so much.
I'm here.
Yeah. Alright.
And let us know, put it in the diary, man.
Yeah.
Where this changes.
Message Abby and we'll get it in the diary for
I
some
love
golf.
it. I love it.
Alright, mate. Thanks so much.
Take care. Abby,
Cheers.
There's a message. Message to Abby.
Golf with Trevor.
It's in the cloud. You know that thing where I just chuck stuff up and it floats around? It's landing on your desk. Alright, golf with Trevor.
So, what are you thinking?